So the last time we looked at the chosen people from a number of different perspectives. Today we're going to be looking at the same verse again, but we lead the follow-on verses as well, so that it provides us context, and this will actually give us a very beautiful perspective. So the verse 247 is obviously referring to the fact that Allah is talking to Bani Israel and He's reminding of the favors, and especially the fact that they were chosen above everybody else at a certain point in time. And then the subsequent follow-on verse is very interesting because it immediately talks about the Day of Judgment. And when it talks about the Day of Judgment, there is no mention of, which tribe you're from, what was your status in this world. Although, of course, people will be accountable according to what they were given. But the words that are used in the subsequent verse in terms of, when it talks about fearing on the Day of Judgment, when nobody will be able to save anybody else, no soul will be able to save any other soul. So essentially, it just moves on immediately to a very basic human level. So because then obviously it is talking about accountability, and nobody is going to be able to intercede on behalf of anybody else. And then the next verse talks about, it reminds them how Allah saved them from the Pharaoh, which was a very painful period for them because they were the slaves of Pharaoh at that time, and they were going the worst possible form of human torture in terms of as soon as a male offspring was born in any of the Bani Israel, he was killed, and the females were later live, and they were oppressed to a very high degree. And this also is interesting because when we discussed last time in terms of the chosen people, we said there are basically two perspectives. One of the perspectives is that there were prophets which came in Bani Israel, which was the sons of Yaqub, obviously, because Yaqub's name, alayhi salam, as we discussed, was Israel. And then, so one was, they were given prophets, and they were given all kinds of, let's say, governance at a certain period of time. But then another perspective is, at a certain point in time, Bani Israel was famously under the control of Pharaoh. And that is when Musa alayhi salam came to Bani Israel, and that's where the main, story of Bani Israel happened, which is described in all places. And so the starting point of that place is that they were the lowest of the low at that point in time, right? So being the slaves of Pharaoh and being oppressed to that kind of degree, that is where, Allah just wanted to demonstrate the fact that at any point in time, He can switch things around the way He wants to. So although they were the most oppressed lot, right? But then Allah decided to switch that and destroy Pharaoh, and then take them on to, to have their own, and look after themselves and have their own land, and so on. So that is the next verse. And then, of course, while that happened, it also talks about how the sea was split and how Pharaoh was destroyed right in front of their eyes. So this is the story of Bani Israel, which we will continue. So if there's any questions, please do drop it down in the comments below. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.